What if we had a super powered fight league and not something that was like underground? I thought about this because we're getting the enhanced games. Unfortunately, when they come out, there won't be combat sports yet. If you haven't heard what the enhanced games are, it's basically just the Olympics, but you're allowed to use PEDs. I'm very excited for that. I also thought of this idea because I've done a few videos on Batman in the UFC. So I've been thinking about how a super powered fight league would go. There's many questions to be answered. Would there be weight classes? What powers would be allowed? How would you even score this? Would powers like pyrokinesis be allowed? How would this even work? But the most important question is, what would it be called? I think SPFC works. Superpowered Fighting Championship, or SPFL, Superpowered Fighting League. So instead of weight classes, I think the classes would be the powers. So for example, you'd have guys with the standard super strength / super speed, durability kind of class. And that would work just like any other MMA rules. It gets decided who wins if no one gets knocked out or submitted, and you can win by knockout or submission. But when it comes to more long-range powers like something like pyrokinesis, there's going to be a lot more opportunity for damage. So that is going to have to be heavily considered when deciding the win. I also think a bionic class would be really cool, where guys try to upgrade themselves as they go. So they upgrade themselves by using technology, and it's basically cyborg versus cyborg. Well, obviously this isn't going to happen in real life, at least anytime soon. So I think this would be a really cool show. And unfortunately, I don't think we'd get anything that cool here in the US, so I think it would probably have to be an anime, which I think would be better anyway for the fights. I mean, that would be so cool. But what kind of rules would they have? Well, I think just regular MMA rules would work really well. Because just because they're superpowered, they still have the same invulnerabilities that a regular person does. Especially when they're fighting someone who's on the same level as them in terms of strength and durability and stuff. Obviously, not everyone's going to be on the same level, and there's going to be people who are way more powerful, but things like no hitting the back of the head, no nut shots, no eye pokes, things like that. Tell me what you guys think about rules, like what should be allowed and what shouldn't, especially with having superpowers. Another thing that might be cool, might be a good idea, not concrete on this. If someone was more powerful, if we could get an actual reading on power levels of each guy, and then somehow they got a device on both guys and made them as strong as each other, put them at the same power level, and then watch them fight and see who's genuinely the best fighter instead of just who's more powerful, who's better at using their powers. Like if they did have pyrokinesis, who can wield it better, who can use it better. I think that might be very interesting. I think that could be an awesome show because I think you could see a lot of cool different things. Imagine idiots coming up to these guys training and just be like, oh, I could take you on. Some stupid tough guy, and you just watch them get humbled. Just see the different personalities of each fighter, and maybe the corruption that goes on too. I think that could be very, very cool. I mean, there's possibilities that there could be weight classes for each power. I just think that'd be way too much. It could happen though. You could also have different fighting promotions for each superpower as well. You could have a whole separate fighting sport just for guys who have like water kinesis or whatever it's called, or guys who have heat vision. It's another way that it could be formatted. And you could have super fights between the organizations. Say the champ of the fighting league wanted to fight the champ of the super strength fighting league because he thinks he doesn't need his fire to beat this guy in a fight. He can use just his strength and he'd win. Something along those lines. It would also be cool if there would somehow be some sort of crossover of superhero and villain type thing too. What if the champ of these organizations got contracts to superhero teams? That would be very, very interesting. And then maybe you saw the guys who don't do as well become supervillains because that's all they know how to do and they're not making enough money doing this. Be very interesting because it could actually give real fighters in real life actual opportunities. Because if they sign contracts in real life for this show to let them use their likeness, it would be so cool. Imagine this took place years in the future. And as I'm creating this video right now, I'm watching Mighty Mouse on Ariel Hawani's podcast, talking about not getting Mighty Mouse's flowers. Imagine we could see fighters from like the UFC or even boxers go into the show and kind of just like go watch or talk to these new sort of superpowered fighters. That would be very interesting. If we did have these superpowered fighters, like I already talked about, fight these non-powered people, but made it so their power level is the same. You could really see who the best is. Then also have actual like super powered fights where it's all bets are off and you are fully powered. It's just an interesting concept that I wanted to talk about. That is the video, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.
I'm just coming back for fun. Because it's great being alive with you.
Good reason.